Hello students, welcome to the lecture on language of business responsibility, and after this lecture we will be able to learn the following objectives. Explain the concept of corporate social responsibility, define the arguments for and against social responsibility, discuss about employees' employer rights and responsibilities, understand employment discrimination, explain the Indianism and Indian management. Let us begin with a brief introduction. Changing workforce demographics may pose challenges for small businesses. Some experts believe that businesses face increased rates of younger and older workers as workers in the middle age range decline. Managers may experience increased training and compensation costs for younger and older workers respectively, which affects solvency and profitability. A growing international labor force is another factor that may affect companies. Changing demographics have a direct impact on business models and strategies. Demographers have presented a compelling case. The 21st century workforce is and increasingly will be different from the workforce of the last century. One important change is the aging of the workforce, a trend expected to continue for several decades. So what could be the possible concept of corporate responsibility? Ever thought of it? Let us discuss. The emerging concept of corporate social responsibility, CSR, goes beyond charity and requires the company to act beyond its legal obligations and to integrate its social, environmental, and ethical concerns into company's business process. Business has today emerged as one of the most powerful institutions on the earth. Some of the biggest companies in the world are in fact bigger in size than some of the developing countries of the world. Globalization makes the world smaller, and business worldwide is expanding like never before. Companies are expanding their operations and crossing geographical boundaries. Indian companies too have made their way into the business boom and are today globally acknowledged as major players. India is currently amongst the fastest growing countries in the world. The globalization and liberalization of the Indian economy has helped in stepping up growth rates. Integration of the Indian with the global economy has also resulted in Indian businesses opening up to international competition and thereby increasing their operations. In the current scheme of things, business enterprises are no longer expected to play their traditional role of mere profit-making enterprises. The ever-increasing role of civil society has started to put pressure on companies to act in an economically, socially, and environmentally sustainable way. The companies are facing increased pressure for transparency and accountability being placed on them by their employees, customers, shareholders, media, and civil society. Business does not operate in isolation, and there is today an increased realization that not only can companies affect society at large, but they are also in a unique position to influence society and make positive impact. Responsibility defines CSR as achieving commercial success in ways that honor ethical values and respect people, communities, and the environment. It means addressing the legal, ethical, commercial, and other expectations that society has for business and making decisions that fairly balance the claims of all key stakeholders. In its simplest terms, it is what you do, how you do it, and when and what you say. A widely quoted definition by the World Business Council for Sustainable Development states that corporate social responsibility is the continuing commitment by business to behave ethically and contribute to economic development while improving the quality of life of the workforce and their families, as well as of the local community and society at large. Though there is no universal definition of CSR, but the common understanding amongst most of these definitions concern with how the profits are made and how they are used, keeping in mind the interests of all stakeholders. The concept of corporate social responsibility is constantly evolving. Key components of CSR are corporate governance, business ethics, workplace and labor relations, affirmative action, good practices, supply chain, customers, environment, community. Now let us know what could be the possible nature of social responsibility. Organizational survival is dependent upon a series of exchanges between the organization and its environment. These exchange and continual interaction with the environment give rise to a number of broader responsibilities to society in general. The broader responsibilities, which are both internal and external to the organization, are usually referred to as social responsibilities. These social responsibilities arise from the independence of organizations, society, and the environment. The definition of social responsibility is management's obligation to make choices and take actions that will contribute to the welfare and interests of society as well as the organization. There are two principles provided the foundation for contemporary views on social responsibility: the principle of charity and the principle of stewardship. Social responsibility is an exercise that is very important to the business organizations. The recognition of the importance of social responsibilities can be gauged in part by the extent of government action and legislation on such matters as, for example, employment protection, equal opportunities, companies acts, consumer law, product liability, and safeguarding the environment. This has formalized certain areas of social responsibilities into legal requirement. Social responsibility is both an issue of obedience to the law and of ethics. There are at least three major contrasting views of social responsibility: the profit concept, the stakeholder concept, and social responsibility concept. The activity of social responsibility is benefit for both social and business organization. The arguments for and against business social responsibility exists. There are several reasons of agreement of the activity. The importance of social responsibility are: best interest of business to promote and improve the communities, organizations as members of society have a moral obligation to help society deal with its problems and to contribute to its welfare. It is the ethical thing to do by the business organizations. A measurement should be made of whether the organization is performing such activities as producing goods and services that people need, creating jobs for society, paying fair wages, and ensuring worker safety. People and organizations need each other. Social responsibility to employees extends beyond terms and conditions of the formal contract of employment and gives recognition to the workers as a human being. People today have wider expectations of the quality of working life, included justice as treatment, opportunities for consultation and participation, training in new skills and technologies, effective personal and industrial relations policies, and provision of social and leisure facilities. Organizations should be, for example, give due consideration to the design of work organization and job satisfaction, make very reasonable effort to give security of employment, and provide employment opportunities for minority groups. Improves public image of the firm. To many people, responsibilities to consumers may be seen as no more than a natural outcome of good business. There are, however, broader social responsibilities, including providing good value for money, the safety and durability of products or services, standard of after-sales service, prompt and courteous attention to queries and complaints, long-term satisfaction, for example, serviceability, adequate supply of products or services, and spare and replacement parts, fair standards of advertising and trading, full and unambiguous information to potential customers. Increasing concern for social responsibilities to consumers can be seen by the activities of such bodies as the Consumers Association and the number of television and radio programs devoted to this subject. Improved stock price. To having the action of social responsibility of an organization would lead to their suppliers and business associates more confidence to the organization. The examples of social responsibility might include fair standards of trading, honoring terms and conditions of purchase or sale, and settlement dates, for example, payment of accounts, assistance to smaller organization, engagement only in fair competition, respect for copyright and patents. By doing that, the other organizations would view the company as less risky. This is in the stockholder's best interest. It will improve the price of stock in the long run because the stock market will view the company as less risky and open to public attack. So it would reduce the cost of the production of the company. Therefore, award it a high price earnings ratio. Solving social problems. Organizations have a responsibility not to misuse the scarce factors of production upon which the wealth of the country depends. Organizations have a responsibility to society to respect environmental considerations and take care of amenities. For example, the effects and potential dangers of pollution, noise, disposal of waste, the siting and appearance of new buildings, transportation policies such as the routing of heavy vehicles through narrow village roads and avoidance of excessive packaging and more use of biodegradable materials. All of that must be think of since the decision making of the organizations to have their process of production. For example, is the protest against aerosol sprays containing chlorofluorocarbons? These have been blamed for damaging the ozone layer, which protects the earth from harmful ultraviolet rays from sun. Organizations should of course respect and obey the law which is set up of government even where they regard it as not in their best interests. But what is debatable is the extent to which organizations should cooperate voluntarily with actions requested by the government. Some examples are restraint from trading with certain overseas countries and the acceptance of controls over imports or exports, actions designed to combat inflation. resource given by the organizations to solve the social problem. The measurement of social investment deals with the degree to which the organization is investing both money and human resources to solve community social problems. Here, the organization could be involved in assisting community organizations dedicated to education, charities, and the arts. Now, let me give you some insight on arguments for and against social responsibility. The major arguments for the assumption of social responsibilities by business are public expectations. Public opinion in support of business pursuing social as well as economic goals is now well solidified. Long-run profits. Socially responsible businesses tend to have more and secure long-run profits. Ethical obligation. A business firm can and should have a conscious. Public image. Firms seek to enhance their public image to gain more customers, better employees, access to money markets, and other benefits. Better environment. Involvement by business can solve difficult social problems, thus creating a better quality of life and a more desirable community in which to attract and hold skilled employees. Discouragement of further government regulation. Government regulation adds economic costs and restricts management's decision flexibility. By becoming socially responsible, business can expect less government regulation. Balance of responsibility and power. Business has a large amount of power in society. An equally large amount of responsibility is required to balance it. When power is significantly greater than responsibility, the imbalance encourages irresponsible behavior that works against the public good. Stockholder interests. Social responsibility will improve the price of a business's stock in the long run. The stock market will view the socially responsible company as less risky and open to public attack. Therefore, it will award its stock a higher price-earnings ratio. Possession of resources. Business has the financial resources, technical experts, and managerial talent to provide support to public and charitable projects that need assistance. Superiority of prevention over cures. Social problems must be dealt with at some time. Business should act on them before they become serious and costly to correct and take management's energy away from accomplishing its goal of production goods and services. The major arguments against the assumption of social responsibilities by business are violation of profit maximization. This is the essence of the classical viewpoint. Business is most socially responsible when it attends strictly to its economic interests and leaves other activities to other institutions. Dilution of purpose. The pursuit of social goals dilutes business's primary purpose, economic productivity. Society may suffer as both economic and social goals are poorly accomplished. Costs. Many socially responsible activities do not pay their own way. Someone has to pay these costs. Business must absorb these costs or pass them on to consumers in higher prices. Too much power. Business is already one of the most powerful institutions in our society. If it pursued social goals, it would have even more power. Society has given business enough power. Lack of skills. The outlook and abilities of business leaders are oriented primarily towards economies. Business people are poorly qualified to cope with social issues. Lack of accountability. Political representatives pursue social goals and are held accountable for their actions. Such is not the case with business leaders. There are no direct lines of social accountability from the business sector to the public. Lack of broad public support. There is no broad mandate from society for business to become involved in social issues. The public is divided on the issue. In fact, it is a topic that usually generates a heated debate. As an employer, it is responsibility of employer to ensure all the employees receive certain basic employment rights. Although some industries require employers to meet different requirements, the list below is the minimum entitlement all employees must receive. The full contract does not have to be in writing. Certain terms and conditions of employment must be stated in writing within 2 months of the employee starting employment. These would typically include the method of calculating pay and whether or not there is a sick pay scheme in operation. For fixed-term employees, it would also include in what circumstances their employment will come to an end. An employee wants a job to give them the means to provide for the everyday needs of life. These may be obvious things like food, clothing, and shelter, but might also include friendship, support, a feeling of belonging, and personal satisfaction. Employers take on employees to do a job. That job may be providing some form of service, or it could be a contribution to the actual production of a good. Employers therefore expect the employee to do the job they are employed for to the best of their ability and in return pay them a wage or salary for the work they do. Because we are dealing with human beings, there can be many complications to this seemingly simple relationship. Complications can come in the form of discrimination, relationships, prejudices, stereotypes, poor communication, misunderstandings, misformation, differing aims and objectives, and plain ignorance. As a result of these human problems, there is a wealth of legislation designed to protect employees from such problems, but which also impress on employees that they too have responsibilities which cannot be ignored. Can you guess in which article is the prohibition of discrimination on grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth in our Constitution is given? Article 15. Prohibition of discrimination on grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. Employment discrimination occurs whenever an employer or its representatives adversely single out employees or applicants on the basis of age, race, gender, sexual orientation, disability, religion, and a variety of other reasons included in the law. According to Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, EEOC, employers cannot discriminate against you in any aspect of employment, such as hiring and firing, compensation, assignment, or classification of employees, transfer, promotion, layoff or recall, job advertisements, recruitment, testing, use of company facilities, training and apprenticeship programs, fringe benefits, pay, retirement plans, and disability leave. But to be illegal discrimination, your employer must be in violation of a specific state or federal law, statute, regulation, or constitutional provision. Otherwise, you are not generally protected from discrimination, however unfair or unethical it may seem. Coming to our Indian context, let us be a proud Indian and study about our Indianism and Indian management. Indianism means using Indian civilization experience and intellectual traditions to develop more relevant knowledge base and culturally relevant theories. Intellectual tradition is very vast. Certain broad streams of thought can be identified and viewed as mini paradigms which would serve as a basis for developing new ideas in the fields of relevant theories, social, management, and development. 9 major different Indian intellectual traditions have been identified, which provide a number of concepts, frameworks, and ideas to the world of management. Each tradition may differ depending upon the assumptions about the nature of man and his interrelationship with state, society, and ecosystem, which have created implications for administrators, managers. Indian intellectual traditions are Arthashastra, Vedantic psycho-spiritual, liberation from oppression, Lifo, Sharman, Sayadwada, multiple perspective, Gandhian, communism, Confluencism, cultural nationalism, Osho. Now in the end, let us summarize what we have learnt in this lecture. Integration of the Indian with the global economy has also resulted in Indian businesses opening up to international competition and thereby increasing their operations. The business process of the company is not just limited to the operations internal to the company, but to the entire supply chain involved in goods and services. India's labor laws are overlapping, potentially inconsistent, and cumbersome, with more than 45 pieces of relevant legislation. Welfare work in its accepted parlance means voluntary effort of employers to improve the conditions of their employees. The measurement of social investment deals with the degree to which the organization is investing both money and human resources to solve community social problems. Organizations have a responsibility not to misuse the scarce factors of production upon which the wealth of the country depends.